Okay, in this video I'm going to install the bearings onto the triple tree, install the races, and do all the work to get the steering column back in. This is the all balls part I used, followed by pictures of the bearings with part numbers and the dust seals with part numbers. I did buy this at my local dealership. I like to support them when I can, and they seem to be pretty reasonably priced for a kit like this. Then following this seal is just a quick picture of the upper race location and the lower race location. Okay, today we're gonna install the triple tree. So the first thing we have to do is put the race in. So this is the top, and this is the bottom. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is just a little brake clean out all the old grease. This is what I'm using. Just put a little bit of, just a little smear on the surface. Okay. Just put a little bit on the outside of the race. Now these races have been in the freezer all night. So there we go. I'm just going to take the old race from the old bearing. Now, fortunately, let's see if I can just you hear that difference? So that's pretty much, yeah, she's seated now. Just gonna take this and see if I can feel any gap under there. Oh, just a. Alright, done. Let's do the bottom. Okay, so on these bearings, I actually measured them to make sure they were going to fit, because they are an aftermarket product. So they were all measured up. And just make sure that I wasn't trying to hammer something into the machined surface on the frame, because that would be a very expensive mistake. Okay. Again, we've got the new race. Just put a little bit of grease on it. Like I said, these were in the freezer all night, just to try to help get these in. Just gonna lightly tap it to start. Need a smaller hammer. I mean, you can just do that. I've just got this tool, which is, I'm using it upside down, but it does the job. Okay, again we're flush. We got another millimeter, the light back, another millimeter to go. So grab the old race, because it fits in the hole. It's only my fingers. Okay. Again, you can hear that difference in sound, which pretty much tells me it's seated. And I'll take Okay, so here's the triple tree. So when I was taking that off, because you have to use a chisel, it's got dings, so I'm just gonna try to take some of those little rough spots off. Okay, so I just wanted to show the old bearing. So there's the old bearing. Let's see where we're at. And the new bearing, of course the race is already in here, but the old bearing was a three-piece unit, and the new one is just this piece and the race. Okay. Little grease on the race. Okay, this is always such a messy job. Okay, so what you want to do is work the grease in on the ends and then the side. That way you can try to drive some grease in. Okay. I don't know if you can see this. See how the grease is working its way up through the bearing? Yeah. Lower bearing. Now, something I watched on another video is just to take a bunch of grease and work it in just all on the top of the race, just to keep the, if you happen to get water in there, you want to just have something between the bearing and the water so it doesn't have to get right down into this. So on the Africa Twin there's the tube, and there's a collar, and then there's the race. There's a little gap in there that's between the stop for the race and that collar. So I'm just packing grease into there so that it is a stop. Now I'm going to try and get this off. I'm going to get grease all over me anyway. Yuck. I'm going to get a little board so that this is sitting on a board and I'm not pounding and putting stress on that. I'm going to take the old, where is it? The old race, small side, because that's going to allow me to tap directly on the bearing. Now,
making sure that's straight. Okay, so I took my grinder and I took the old race, just ground it, that way it won't bind. I just filed out the rough edge on the inside, and now we'll continue. Okay, now might have to go. Yeah, so the seal doesn't move around, but I'm tucked down into it, so that's perfect. So, I'm gonna put some grease all over this now. Okay, you can see the race. I'm just gonna clean off some of this grease I got smeared on everything. There. Now that bolt on there, yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to adjust the camera and we can see that what's happening on the top. Okay. It's nice to have all this. So there's the bearing, the dust seal. Have all these bits ready. Okay. Can drop the bearing in. The dust seal in. What's that? Locking collar. That's just finger tight for now. Just turn the that notchy feeling that was there before is gone. All right. So most guys, when they do this, they say to tighten it until it won't turn, because that's too tight, and then just back it off a little bit. Yeah, that's, I can feel resistance there. We'll have to, after 500 to 1000 K, we'll have to come back in here and just reset this anyway, so I'm not going to get worried about it at this point. Okay, let's just try that yoke one more time. Yeah, there's no binding. No, nothing, nice and smooth. Drop this back down in there. Pull this towel out. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on that. You know me. A little grease helps. Over time, things get wet. You got steel and aluminum, so you have a real possibility of things binding. Put the nut. Now, in order to tighten that down properly, I'll have to put the forks in. So the next video we will put the forks in, snug them up, and then we can torque this down, put all this back together. All right.